Yes. I'm just looking at this attitude. Yes. And there was an attitude for the manner of prayer or the attitude to be assumed by the suppliant. Yes. Now, this idea of prayer is converse with God. Yeah. The intercourse of the soul with God, not in contemplation or meditation, but in direct address to Him. Yeah. Prayer may be oral or mental, occasional or constant, ejaculatory or formal. Is a beseeching the Lord, Exodus 32:11, pouring out the soul before the Lord. Yes. 1 Samuel 1:15, praying and crying to heaven, 2 Chronicles 32:20, seeking unto God and making supplication. Yeah. Job 8:5, and drawing near to God, Psalm 73:28. Then there's the bowing the knees, Ephesians 3:14. Now, prayer presupposes a belief in the personality of God, His ability and willingness to hold intercourse with us. Yes. His personal control of all things and of all His creatures and all their actions. Yeah. Now, acceptable prayer must be sincere. Yeah. Offered with reverence and godly fear, with a humble sense of our own insignificance as creatures and of our own unworthiness as sinners. With earnest importunity, yeah, and with unhesitating submission to the divine will. Must also be offered in the faith, yeah, that God is, and is the hearer and answerer of prayer, and that He will fulfill His word. The ask and ye shall receive, Matthew 7:7, yeah, 8:21-22, Mark 11:24, and John 14:13-14. And in the name of Christ, yes, 16:23, yeah, Ephesians, Colossians. Now, prayer is of different kinds. There's the secret prayer, Matthew 6:6, social as family prayer, and in social worship, and public in the service of the sanctuary. Now, this intercessory prayer is enjoined, yeah, and there are many instances on record of answers having been given to such prayers. Examples being Abraham, Moses, for the Israelites, Miriam, for Aaron, Samuel, Solomon, Elijah. Yes. And then there was Jeremiah, Peter, the church. And then there was Paul. Now, no rules are anywhere in Scripture laid down for the manner of prayer or the attitude to be assumed by the suppliants. The attitude. Now, let's say I have this attitude of prayer today. Pooch. God is going to answer me, and you are going to get sued. Yes. Now, this idea of being a Christian, yes. See, there are no rules of exactly how this prayer has to happen. Let's say I documented that I wanted a large amount of wealth. Yes. Now, I have spent some time talking to God about it approximately 8 to 9 years ago. And I've just been waiting on the Lord to fulfill some prayers that I have said, yes, approximately a decade ago. Now, there's this idea, yes, between the prayer and known as the suppliant, yeah, and then the answer. Yeah. See, a prayer is a request, and then God answers. Yes. Now, to have this attitude, yes, means that I am absolutely sure, yes, that I have the right to sue you. I have the right to actually organize the lawsuit so that I put in management those that have been involved in some industries that people don't like to talk about. Yes, because they want to retire. And then when they manage the actual employees that do all the investigating, yes, I make sure of all the evidence, right? I actually make sure of the witnesses, right? I make sure of the depositions, the discovery, and all the necessary documentation so that I can hand it to an attorney firm, yes. And then I decide, well, I think this lawsuit's worth $500 to $1,000 an hour for the attorneys that represent me. Now, some of these multi-hundred-billion-dollar lawsuits, yes, I will pay $1,000 an hour for each and every attorney of the individual attorney firms that represent me in these lawsuits. Now, some of the smaller ones, let's say you're a sheriff. Your actual net worth is approximately $2 million. Dollars. I spent $200,000 investigating you. Yes. See, I have it available to me as soon as I'm able to use the judicial system. Excuse me. Yes. That if I think, in fact, I know I can document your actual net worth. Yes. I spend $200,000. Right. I actually take all your assets and then I sue your associations. Yeah. I sue your union. I sue the state that you're employed in. Pooh. And there could be numerous other lawsuits involved in that whole process. Right. Now, this $2 million in assets where I spent $200,000, yeah, financed at approximately 6 to 7% a year for the next 2 to 5 years. Yes, it does. Now, when I go to sue, and yes, it's both civil and criminal. Right. Now, out of that $2 million, I'm having to pay back the financiers $200,000 plus the additional interest for the 2 to 5 years that I borrowed the money. Right. And then the actual attorney fees and costs, yes, those are paid for by the opposing party. Boop. And if you don't happen to have any money, I make arrangements for you to pay it. Yeah, I'm the pauper. Boop. Now, this thought of the attitude of prayer. I've been praying approximately a decade ago, yes, that God would right now do something about this situation. Because I manage these lawsuits. I do all the necessary research. I make sure that the attorneys that represent me, they don't have any out-of-pocket costs because I do not use contingency fees. No, you don't. I make sure that when we go to court right now,